Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode. Episode number 14 of Keeping It Positive. This episode was with a very special guest, Val Lariviere. We laughed so much and it was so much fun. At the start of the podcast, we laughed like a crazy amount and we had a hard time even starting it because before hopping on to do the recording, we were talking for about an hour, and we could have just did a podcast on that. We It was so much fun, and she's just such a bright light in this world. And whoever is so lucky to have her in your life, or to get to know her, to know her is to love her, I think, and she's just a tremendous person, and I'm so fortunate to have her as a friend, and we talked so much, and I think this episode was extremely special. Um, Her being a professional social worker, we talked about a little bit about everything, and having her perspective, and just the big heart that she has is truly amazing, and you can feel it every time you're around her, every time you're with her. When you see her, your eyes light up because you get so excited to see her, and she brings out the best in others. She's so goofy, she's so funny, she's so smart, everything, and I'm just so grateful to have a friend like her. Jill, her husband, and Gray, her son, are truly amazing people. The whole family is absolutely awesome, and through the store, I've been able to meet her sister and her parents, and they're truly incredible as well. And we always laugh and have so much fun, and it really is something special that me having a friendship with her is was building something special, and for me to have that in my life, it makes my life a lot better. And I think you can hear it or watch it when you listen to this podcast, and I think and I think the world of her, what she's able to do, even when people come to the store and are friends with her, or people that work with her. She makes every environment that much better, and everyone says that she lightens the mood. She cares about everyone, and this episode is I named it "Lead with Love" because that's what she does as a leader. She leads with love, and she always follows her heart, and she does everything the best that she can. She does everything with the right intentions, and she projects love, and that's how what she shares with other people. I think that's what her superpower is to bring out the best in people and help as many people as possible. She's extremely loving, and we talk a little bit about that on the episode too. And I think this is an episode that I think there's so much knowledge, and there's so much little nuggets of information. It gives you uh, a great perspective, and me listening back to it, editing, it puts a smile on my face, and we had the best time, and this is what it's all about. Um, this podcast for me, I just like celebrating people and making people feel good and giving them a platform to laugh and have a good time and share stories and um, good feelings, great feelings. And I hope when you listen to episodes, like I hope that when it's done, you could think like, oh, my heart feels better, or I learned something, or this has really helped me, and I think that's the whole point. So I feel like I'm rambling on, and I really hope that you like this episode with Val, because both Val and I really enjoyed it. We had the best time, and and yeah. So without further ado, episode number 14 with the one and only amazing Val. Well, Val, thank you so much for doing this. This is gonna be so much fun. I feel like we can have our own podcast together and just laugh all the time, and it would be the best. But when I started this, I wanted to kind of create something to give people a platform to show people how other great people shine, and I think you're a perfect guest for this type of thing. So I appreciate you taking the time.
You're the sweetest. You say this to everyone, though.
No, I don't. uh, but it's true though.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. And like I said, I've only shared this with a few people that I'm getting to do this, and it's almost like there's been some jealousy in an envious way, of like you get to be on Ryan's podcast, like that's cool, Like I think a lot of people would want to be on talking with you because you represent something so special to Sudbury too.
And and I feel like it's such a fun thing to do. Like every week, I'm able to do a new episode and talk to some amazing people. And even with you, when I saw you at the gym a few weeks back, being able to reconnect and it's been so awesome. And even our chats all the time, we always laugh whenever you come into the stores. I think laughter is the best medicine, and and you always give the best medicine, and it's the best time. And I think not only with your amazing personality and how funny and kind you are, you're just that kind of person. And with your whole career and job and everything that you do. You always are there to help people, and you always try to make the community and the world a truly better place. And that's kind of what I want to start to talk a little bit about. But I always suck at the introductions. Uh,
That's okay.
maybe just to start kind of introduce yourself and yeah, we'll go from there.
That's totally fine. And when I was thinking about doing this, the only reason I'm doing this is for you because I adore
No,
you. Because I'm used to being on the other side of this, where I'm the listener. I'm the one asking questions. I'm the one getting to like know the person in a whole different way. So it's really like uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. And to talk about yourself, because it's just weird.
and that's okay though. Like
Yeah.
it's cool to like have a different perspective, right? And the
Yeah.
roles are reversed, so to say. And I think the reason this is so special for me is like people to get to know you, right? And give people a different perspective of like laughing and joy and being who you are. And I think being having a lighter side of a person, it really makes life in general a little bit easier, right?
Mm. Yeah. And I always tell my kid, like, you have to push outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, well, when I was talking to Jill about doing this or not, he's like, well, you have to do it. You can't be a hypocrite and tell your kid push outside your comfort zone. Or that's what we're always telling our clients. That's where the magic happens is if you're outside of your comfort zone, but then I'm not going to do it myself.
And you're doing it. Well, it's just a conversation between two good buddies.
Exactly. Except it's a little like more PG right now.
And then the giggles begin.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Here we go.
But yeah,
No,
man, but I think like I want to kind of dive into that a little bit. You were saying like you're usually the person listening and asking the questions and different like maybe kind of dive into what you do on a day to day basis and yeah, a little bit about your profession day to day kind of thing.
yeah, sure. I mean, right now, so I do a couple of things. So I work right now for the Catholic school, the French Catholic School Board. So I'm the mental health lead. So I'm so fortunate to work with the most amazing team of social workers. I mean, that is what makes the job so incredible. I truly love these people, and for each of their own like reasons. Every team member has like their strengths, and I love them. And people are like, "Oh, you can't really love like you're supposed to be like a leader, a manager." I'm like, I genuinely love these people. I do, and I see the beauty and the potential in each individual that I work with, and I could like I feel like they're like my little family. So they go off and they work in all the different schools for the school board. And then I get to be, I guess their coach, their leader, um, their problem solver, if you will. And I also get to work with the principals in our school board who are absolutely incredible. That's been my favorite part because I always said, and I mean this in the nicest way, a lot of people don't get kids. And that's why a lot of adults struggle to understand a kid's behavior as communication of something. right? We were taught, like, we grew up, a kid is, if they challenge or ask questions, or then they're being disrespectful, you know? And I've learned so much throughout my career that, like, I want to be able to share that with people and have them see kids the way I see kids.
Hmm.
And so the principals I work with are so phenomenal and open to, like, shifting that lens and looking at it from a different point of view. And we're coming at it from a mental health perspective. So that's not, the same as coming at it from a teacher's point of view. Like, they're there to teach. And so it's like this beautiful marriage between social work and teaching.
But I think that's such a beautiful thing, though. It's a good perspective to have, right? And it's like a good marriage because you're all there to help. At the end of the day, it's all about the kids, right? And to help the kids as much as possible. But one thing that I know, like, it really stuck with me when when you said, like, at the start, where you don't know if you can do this. You're supposed to be a leader, but you love everyone. But I think that's a really good form of leadership, like leading with love and caring about others and listening to others and really get to know them, right? And I think that's it's such a great trait, and that's what it is to be a leader, to work towards people's strengths and utilize that to make them even stronger and help them fix their weaknesses, and eventually they'll be even more well-rounded and that much better. And when you're able to lift others, that's when you get lifted as well, and it's a whole team effort, which is pretty amazing.
Hey, you're so right. One of those conferences I was at there that I was texting you from, that's what it was. It boiled down to, he actually used the word amour. Like, he said, it boils down to loving, genuinely loving the people that you work with, so that you can grow them. And it's not like, how do I say this, like counting beans, did you do this? No, it's genuinely getting to know them, their life, who they are, what makes them tick, what motivates them, what they enjoy doing, and,
Mhm.
and caring about that. That's what's going to get the individual to, perform at their best, if you will.
Yeah, and that's how you get the best out of people, right? And like when people come to my store, that's what I like to do as well. Like I like to ask them questions, get to know them, and then when they come back, then I remember like what, like the parts of their family or what they do, and like the people say, "Oh, you have an amazing memory," but I don't think it's like an amazing memory. It's about like caring about people and really listening to people and really understanding them, right? And it's not for me. It's not just like they're buying clothes. They believe in me, right? And I like they work hard for their money and they want to support me, but like support the message. And I think it's really important to be able to be interested in people and really get to know them. And I think if you do that, it makes people feel like they're all worthy, right? Everyone is worthy, and I think having being able to demonstrate that and really getting to know people, it allows you it allows them to get have more self confidence maybe or reach their full potential in a work setting and really run through a wall for you, so to say.
Yes, and it's so interesting that you're bringing this up, because one of the things that really hit me the last time we were in the store, and I know you're good at this, but it just, you looked at my sister, she was with me, and you said, "How are you, Joe?" And you named her. And my heart just, like, exploded, because I said, like, in my head, like, I know we're close, but you took, like, you remember my sister and her name, and then my son. Like, it's those little things that make it such, like, it really hit me inside, right,
Oh.
that you did that. So, and I'm like that too. I try really hard. I may not remember, like, certain things, but I remember people's names, who their best friend is, who they care about, like, that kind of stuff, because
Mhm.
what matters to them has to matter to you,
Yeah,
you
for sure.
know for them to really feel like they're felt.
And I think that's what like that's what you're building, like a culture too, right? And then if you're doing that and you're high up, so to say, but like The great thing about you is like you don't feel like you're high up. You feel like you're equal to everyone, and a lot of people in your position would probably not think that way, you know. And I think being equal and everyone is the same. I think that's like that's what it's all about, right? And helping
Yeah.
each other up when you need help, and when someone needs help, you're there to help them, and vice versa. And then that's how you move um, forward in a positive way.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the second thing I want to tell you is a conversation we had today at one of that meeting I told you I was in. If if I were to ever have a girl crush, it would be on this girl. Her name is Dr. Alexandre Madal. She is like the most brilliant, beautiful lady you'll ever meet. And so she was talking to us about what I'm telling you, if I had one, it'd be her. And she was talking about this conference she went to because she's a psychologist, and she was telling us about the importance of making kids feel like they matter. So we're always talking about belonging, making people feel like they belong, but there's a difference between belonging to something, like I belong to this team, I belong to this organization, but do I feel like I matter to them?
Yeah,
And I was like, whoa, that's
and
deep, you know?
you're saying that, but like, and it hits you, right? Like, I think
Yes.
everyone matters, and I think not a
Exactly.
lot of people show it, right? And
Yeah.
it, and maybe you think you are, but like life gets so busy, and it's not an excuse by any means. But I think if you slow down and you really take the time for others, and you really show that you matter, and you take the time maybe to send an extra text once in a while or check in on people,
Yes.
and then say that you love them or whatever it may be. Like just little gestures add up to something really really big. And I think demonstrating that you really matter to people, I think it really goes a long way.
And you never really know the impact it has had.
Mm,
You may never know. They won't tell us, perhaps, that they were having the shittiest day that day and they ran into you and you said something meaningful or you smiled or you asked about someone that mattered to them. You may never know the
mm,
impact, but it's worth doing anyways, because I've had clients like Jill and I were talking about, he's like, you have to use this example because you gave me the kind of questions a little bit of what you were going to ask, and like, why do I do what I do? Well, about, I'll say 2 months ago, I went to get my vehicle. Just the wiper was not malfunctioning, so I went to get it changed. Long story short, there's a I get back into my car and there's a note for me, and it's from a past client, a student I worked with once upon a time years ago in high school. Okay. He wrote, I don't know if you remember me. It's so and so. You worked with me in high school. I just want you to know that you changed my life.
oh,
And of course, I knew who it was. I remembered immediately, you know? And so I was, like, so he ended up working on my car. He saw my name and
yeah,
he knew, he had asked if like what I had looked like. Anyways, it's a long story, but like I was able to I confirmed for them that it was me before he probably left the note. But
yeah,
yeah, like, come on. That if that's not what it's all about, like,
so cool. And
oh,
like we don't know what people are going through, right?
yeah,
And being there for people and really helping and making a positive difference, and like being able to change people's lives. That's why you do what you do, right? And it's not,
yeah,
and that's what's so reassuring, and that's what probably wakes you up in the morning, right? To be able to have that positive impact, and not only on your clients but on your coworkers, and even like your coworkers come in all the time, and we talk about you, and it's always so many positive, amazing things, like how goofy you are, but like like and how everyone loves to be around you, and you're like you're a ray of sunshine, and so and on and on and on, and like no matter who they are, if they're an important boss or whoever, like you joke around, and you probably maybe shouldn't be joking around with them like that, but you do, right? And I think it's absolutely who you are, and you don't change for anyone. And I think everyone is unique and special in their own way, and you have to be who you are to the core.
100%. And so the one time, it just brings me to a memory I have, because this wasn't long ago actually. We were sitting at a table with a bunch of friends, and my best friend was sitting with me. Shout out to Cindy Segay, I love you. By the way, everyone needs a Cindy Segay. She's been my life changer, so I'm the grateful and lucky one. But so we were going around the table, like describing each person. Okay, so they were asking her, well, how would you describe so and so? And she's like, well, she's hot. Okay, whatever. So then she gets to me and she looks at me. She's like, "You're you're loving."
Oh.
I know, but I was kind of insulted. I wanted to be the hot one. Like, who wants to be the loving one? Like, but then afterwards, after I calmed down, I'm like, okay, you know what? Sure, I'll take it. I will lean into that. I am loving. I want people to feel loved. I want, when they're with me, to feel like they are the only persons that matter to me in that moment, because I care. So why is that a bad thing? So it just got me thinking. It was such an interesting, you know, night, because I'm like, loving, won't, won't. There's a gift. Like, you know, um, but I've just decided to embrace it and lean into it. I'm just gonna love then.
You know what? Like some people are good looking and they're not a nice person, but you have both, so it's good.
You had to say that. I laid the trap.
But it's true. Like I think that's the best, one of the best qualities to have, right? Is to be loving and caring and compassionate. And you wouldn't be where you are today without it, you know.
Yeah.
And even like going back to your coworkers that came in the other day, like the position you're in right now, they all told you to apply, and they were telling me like they were saying like Val doesn't know if she could, like she shouldn't, we shouldn't be telling her to apply because she would be our boss and it's weird and this and that, but it all worked. It was like the perfect fit, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are all friends and you guys are all loving within one another, and that's what makes it kind of so special.
Yes, it is. It's a fantastic. And I was in private practice at the time. I had
Mhm.
gone and done my own, gone on to my own thing. So my plan was never to go back into the quote unquote system, but
But it
some
all worked out.
it worked out. It worked out, and it's fantastic. And I have a phenomenal boss as well. It's just such a great place to work. How can you not be, like, they laugh because I kind of get made fun of. My boss laughs at me because she knows on Monday morning I'm excited to go into work. And I am. Like, I genuinely am.
See,
Because if it's not the principal, it's the kids, it's the teachers. Like, I get to work with so many different types of people, and to be able to share, like, the knowledge that I have throughout the last 20 years of doing this work. Like, what more could you ask for?
and
You
and
know?
I think that's what makes you, like, that's when you know you're in the right spot. It's exactly where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up and you're excited
Yeah.
to be able to go to work, and you're excited to like live another day. Like being you're doing the right thing when you wake up. And I think like we're so lucky to wake up every single day with a
Mm-hmm.
heartbeat, with air in our lungs,
I
to have
agree.
another opportunity to do great things, right? And I think that's the great perspective to have, is to be able to like really enjoy what we're doing, and really enjoy what we're doing. But it's more than just work. It's about having an impact. And for you, it's probably most of the time it probably doesn't feel like work because
No.
of what you're able to do and who you're able to work with, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It makes it really, really enjoyable.
But I wanted to like bring it back a little bit. I was creeping in on your LinkedIn
I
with
know. When you had all those things dated, I'm like, oh my, what else do you know?
but I remember this because I remember you coming to the store. But like not when you graduated Laurentian the first time, but when you graduated your masters with Waterloo, and there's such a gap because you
Yeah.
graduated 2005, and then 2019 you did your masters. Like, I wanted to ask, like, what made you kind of want to go back to school and kind of like progress your education and get better? Um, yeah.
So a couple of things. It comes back to my Cindy saying, we had been talking about this, doing it together, our masters, for a while. And in social work, nowadays, it is very helpful to have your masters in the sense that it opens more doors. So I was doing frontline work at the time, and I would have likely not been able to kind of go into maybe a supervisory role or even branch off on my own and do private practice. I
Okay.
couldn't do that without a master's. So
Hmm.
we just decided one year, okay, we're doing it. We did it together. So that was super helpful to encourage each other because it's brutal. Like, you're right, 2019. So I means I started it was a 2 year course. I started in 2017. So Gray was like 6 years old at the time, and I was working full time at what's called Compass now, but it was Child and Family Center then. So yeah, it was an incredibly stressful time, to be honest. It's like a blur of like how we did it. I don't know you did what we did,
But
but
it's
that
a
was the idea, right? So that we could kind of like open maybe a business in the future, become like go up the chain a little bit because eventually you gain all this experience. Like, I'd been doing the work for 15, 17 years at the time. You kind of start want to mentor and grow others and share with them your knowledge, and kind of what the OGs did for us when I was younger. I was a baby when I was in my early 20s when I started at Child and Family Center, and it was all these wonderfully experienced OGs that took me under their wings and showed me everything they knew. So I think that's what I wanted to do for others, and I knew I was sort of getting ready for that, but without the masters in our profession, it's harder to climb up that way.
it's cool how it kind of came full circle because, like you said, the originals that kind of helped you and gave you knowledge. Now you're able to pay it forward and pay
Absolutely.
it to younger people too, which is
Yes.
pretty cool. And being having to be juggle school, a full time job, a kid, and marriage, everything in between, that must have been a lot of like time management and organizing and like you said, it was a blur.
It was wild. It was wild. And if you think about it, that's when, like, remember earlier we were having a conversation off screen, but well, on screen, but not recording because it wasn't PG. But Gilles started his business in 2015, and he chose to leave full time in like 2016, 2017. So I was also helping him with managing all of that. Like, I don't know how we did it. You just do, right? When you're in a
Yeah,
situation,
yeah.
you you just do, because
Wow.
there's a goal, there's an end goal in sight, and
Yeah.
you just get up and you do what you got to do.
And now look at you, like now,
Yeah,
like even look at Jill, like you guys are doing awesome, and he's doing what he loves, and you
he's
were saying
happy.
like he now he's working and he does every day. He's able to do projects that he loves, and he doesn't really have to worry about the business. He can just focus on all his strengths, right? And you're doing what you love too, and Gray's excelling, which is amazing, and
Exactly.
it all worked out. No one has a crystal ball, right? But if you do things with the right intentions and you work hard and you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything.
And I believe that 100%. And
Mhm.
you got to put in the work. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not. You have to be patient, and you have to just keep chipping away at it and do little things. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Okay, well, what's the first small step? What's the smallest thing I can do today that's going to still chip away and get me where I want to be,
Yeah,
all the while enjoying the ride.
yeah, it's like enjoying the process to get to the end goal, right? But
Yes.
if you don't enjoy the process of the end result, then when you get to the end result, it won't be as fulfilling as it should be, right?
Oh, and then it's almost like you miss out on life. Like those 2 years are a blur, but I know that there was good things. Like it's just a shitty memory that I have because it was so much was going on. But I know that it wasn't like crazy awful. It was manageable.
Yeah.
You know,
It was a lovely chaos.
lovely chaos. Oh, I like that. It's my next tattoo. Lovely chaos.
A lovely
By
chaos.
Ryan.
Yeah. But I think that's what it's all about, right? Even if things get overwhelming in life, you just gotta keep going and try to do your best you can that day, and keep doing that every single day, and then all those little efforts add up to something big eventually. And now, look at you years later, all that added up, and you don't even realize.
Yes. And as you were saying that, what kept popping up in my head is, and don't do it alone.
Mm.
Like I'm so fortunate to have an absolutely incredible support system. You know what I mean? Like I have phenomenal parents who are there for me at the drop of a hat. I have silly siblings who all too well. And my in-laws are phenomenal. I have the friends that I have would literally, I know maybe I don't talk with them every day, but if there's something that I would need, they'd be there. So it's also like I'm very fortunate in the people that I have around me that I'm sure I called crying and they said keep going, you got this, come. You don't have to do life alone either.
And I think it's like a team effort, right? Like the way
Yes.
I think about my life is like I'm the MVP of my own life, but like I have a good support team. And when I win, they win, and I have
Yes.
that weird perspective where
It's not
like
weird. I
uh,
love it.
for me when I think about it, like if I do really good, I want to bring everyone along for the ride, because if something goes bad, I know they'll be there for me if it does. And I think being able to win together, if I win, they win, and it just makes me feel so much better. Like, yeah, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, maybe I'm like the face of the brand, but there's so many people that are part of the brand, and the people that believe in me, and are wear the clothes too, and not just my family and friends, but all the customers, and it's all like an amazing community. I'm very fortunate to have those people, because like people always say it takes a village to do something special, right? And even at that time when you were going to school, and your husband was starting the business, and like you guys did that together, which is
Mhm.
which is the most amazing thing ever. And I think that that's super special.
Oh, he's my best friend. He's like he's people say this all the time, but he is literally home to me. Like he's the human version of home. And
Oh,
he is so supportive of me and it doesn't matter what I do. He doesn't ever say no or any silly thing. And he has to put up with me. I mean, the silliness, if you were to meet Jill, it's kind of funny because we're very like opposites almost, he's very quiet and
but you
reserved.
know, but you know what though? Like they say, opposites attract, right? And
Yes.
that's what makes it so. That what makes it work.
And Jill is probably one of the most mentally strong people I've ever met in my life. Like he is able to overcome. It's just crazy, and he's helped me a lot because I find sometimes, okay, the downside to being this super nice, positive person is you sometimes people please a little, right? Maybe
I do that
a
all the
little
time.
bit, you know?
I have such a hard time saying no, and I
Yeah.
I'm offending people, and
Yes.
like, but like if something happens, and then I'm mad at myself because I should have said this or I should have said that, and I can't, like, oh,
Yeah,
you,
you get it, right?
you speak
And
my language.
no, I exactly, but he's taught me to just like stand up for myself, but be true to me and my values. Like when something is not right and it doesn't feel right for me, before I would have just gone along with it regardless, just because. And now it's like I feel like because of him, I'm able to to be like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be authentic and real to me.
Mm.
Even and actually I should bring Gray into this as well, because a perfect example is, it's silly, but Christmas pictures. Okay. So I have these boys that would rather just wear jogging pants and like not the matchy matchy stuff. And every year I would stuff them into these like, you know, matchy clothes for the Christmas picture once a year for mom. And so this year, Gray says, Mom, like, why do we do that? Like, what? Why can't I just wear what I want to wear? Because that's who I am on every day. And I was like, okay, okay, you're right. We always say we got to be ourselves, be who we are, and be true to yourself. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So if you look at our Christmas picture, my kid's in jogging pants and an old navy zip up, and Jill's in a positive inception like shirt, and I'm like dressed all nice.
Hey, positive reception is nice.
It's very nice. It just didn't match the whole look, you know? But they teach me so much about being true to myself, and that that's okay if myself doesn't like. Why do we do that? Go spend money for a picture, for clothes we'll never wear again, for a like, I don't want to say fake picture because it's not what it is, but you know what I mean? It's like it creates this image of like, this is not who we really are on a daily basis. So I'm trying to live my life more in a way that aligns with who I really am, you know? Like, take it or leave it almost. Not without, I don't want to be offensive, of course.
Yeah.
Only when the camera's not recording.
But I think that's a good like message for everyone, right? Just to be yourself no matter what, and wherever you want to do what makes you happy, and I think like, and even Gray like teaching you that, and he's so young, right? It gives you a different perspective as a mom as well, which like it's there's probably learning experiences all the time.
Every day. Every day. And they say like they give you get the kid that, you know, so Gray is this phenomenal human being that is pushing me to look at the world in so many different ways that I didn't before. And it's amazing. Like I'm so grateful for that, because the way he looks at life is, it's very neat for his age, and he's very, very smart. So we have these conversations all the time where I'm like, this is wild. Like I'm having this conversation with my 13-year-old about whatever it is, and his perspective makes a lot of sense. Like he'll overhear us sometimes talking about adult stuff, and he'll come and like give his 2 cents, you know, and
Yeah,
like, did you try this, Mom? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Actually, that might work, buddy. You know?
yeah.
Um, it's being a parent is really, it's something. It's like magical
But
because you,
it's cool then like you get that kind of perspective of it, right?
yes,
And being able to like he like you're supposed to be you're the parent, but he teaches you as well, and then vice versa, and like you
yes,
guys grow together,
yes.
which is probably how it should be.
I would hope so. Like I have this philosophy, you know, that like kids are so much cooler than adults. Like one of your questions was, why, you know, do you focus on children's mental health and kids? You will always find me with the kids at parties, or since I was a kid. I'm with the kids. Like kids are funner than adults any day of the week.
Hey, Val, you're at like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner,
I'm
and you're
at
at the kids' table.
the
Uh,
chair. I don't fit in the chair, but I'll still try. Hey, that's why I go to the gym now, so I can fit on the chairs.
and you're getting stuck in the little chair. Uh,
Wait, like kids are so amazing, you know, and they're so innocent, and they do have something to bring to our conversation. Like sometimes we tend to shut them out, and because they're little, but they see things from their perspective, and it's
hmm.
amazing if you listen, if you just take the time to listen.
And it's like that with like their perspective, they're so innocent, and they might, but like the way they think is sometimes you don't expect them to think like that, you know.
It's mind-boggling, especially if you've watched him, like, you know, he was like this useless little infant that just slept and ate and shit. And now he's like, so, a full grown man having intellectual conversations with me about life. And, it's wild.
But and I think like and it's just gonna keep getting better and better, which is the most amazing part.
Yes. But I think we're also examples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if I were to get up every day and be like, oh, it's raining and it sucks and it's this and it's that and negative, I'm showing him that that's the perspective to have. And I think life is a lot about attitude,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it is what it is. It's raining. Okay. Like what?
It's about you can choose to be in a good mood or in a bad mood, right? When you wake up, and like you're the type of person, Val. Like even if it's raining, you make your own sunshine. You are the sunshine, you know. And I think that's a great way to live. Like we can wake up and say, oh, it's raining out. Like it's a wasted day. No, it's not. It's another day to do great things. You know, even if it's gloomy out, it doesn't mean that your mood has to be gloomy, or doesn't mean that your whole day is wasted. It's another day to do something great.
Yes. Yes. Or just be with each
Mm.
other too, right? Like so let's have a movie day and do nothing, stay in our PJs all day and just be random about it. Take the opportunity to do something that you wouldn't normally do.
Mm. Exactly. And sometimes like we don't have to be our best every day.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's good to be able to relax a little bit and unwind
Yes.
and be in your, like you said, be in your PJs and have a comfy day and a relaxed day and a chill day and unwind and decompress. I think that's good.
And it's important actually.
But I wanted to like, since we're talking about like how you being like as a parent and something like that, I wanted to ask like because you're so busy, you're go and what you've been doing like through your career to now, like how do you like how do you balance like being a mom and your personal goals and your work goals and the gym and your everyday life, like how does that um I guess how do you manage everything, or do you have tricks or tips that kind of help you on your everyday life, so to say?
Oh my god, tips and tricks, really? That's a tough one. Like, come on. I just do. Um, I think for me, like the part about the balancing motherhood. So, okay, actually, this is my tip. I don't see it as all these big things that are hard to manage. I see it as things I get to do. I get to be a mom. It's a privilege. I wanted nothing more than to be a mom. And I think I shared this with you, and I don't mind saying it here because I think people don't talk about it enough. But like we had Gray through IVF.
Mm,
So we struggled for a long time to get to have him. So for me, it is like the thing I'm the most grateful for. So I don't see it as a job or something I need to balance. Like, I enjoy my job so much. I'm doing something that I love. So it's like, oh, okay, from between 8 and 5, I'm doing the thing I love. Then I come home and I know it sounds weird, like who could be this happy? But I think when you're genuinely doing the things that make you happy, like the gym, that's not a hard thing to manage. If anybody who's walked into T2 knows that that place is, it's like a family. It's like a bar because the music is so amazing, but then you're working out, you're losing weight. The people in there are just incredible. I've made such amazing friends there. I'll never stop going there as long as my body lets me. It's the trainers, they're super knowledgeable. They become your friends. You can feel that they are happy that you're there. They notice when you're not there.
yeah.
They they're invested in our success. So I think my tip is it's your attitude. Like if you look at it as all these things that you have to manage and that take, like, how do you do it all? No, I get to do all of these things. I'm really lucky. I am fortunate. I'm grateful. There are people who don't get to do any of those things and wish they were a mom or wish they could go to the gym and afford to go to the gym, I guess. Maybe like I'm just thinking of different reasons people maybe couldn't go. Like, I get to do all these things. How could I complain about that? I don't, does that make sense? Like, I
Well,
feel
yeah, for sure.
like,
I have that kind of similar perspective too. It's like you don't have to do it, or you don't need to do it. You get to do it, right? And
yeah,
it's like it's that switch in perspective, and it makes the world a difference, right? And I think like I don't have to work every day. I get to work every day. Or
yeah,
similar to you, I don't have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. When I go to the gym, it makes me feel so much better. Like
mhm,
it makes my everyday life so much better. And I think it's like a like kind of like a not a medicine, but like I don't know, it just helps me a lot.
me,
I think
me too.
being able to do that it's like I can be a lot worse than what I am, and I'm very 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 grateful that I have the mobility that I have. I could be a lot better, or I can be a lot worse, and I choose to see like I have a lot of abilities
Yes,
instead of challenges or whatever it may be, right? Having that good perspective, having that attitude, I think that's what has allowed me to be where I am today. If I would
100%.
feel sorry for myself, or if I would feel like there's so many things going on, and how do I juggle all this, and having that attitude of gratitude, it makes the world of difference.
And I agree wholeheartedly. For me, the word you use is gratitude, and that's exactly how I try and live my life. Is I'm really grateful, and I know once a year everyone writes, "Oh, hashtag blessed," and we kind of laugh at Thanksgiving, right? But like, there's one thing to say you're blessed with stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you just, but you can do that, or you can live by it.
Mhm.
Genuinely lean into it and live like you are grateful.
Like for us, it's like Thanksgiving every day.
Yes, minus all the turkey and gravy
Minus the
kisses.
hashtags.
Yeah, that's not my thing either. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it's easy to say I'm blessed once a year, but to actually feel like you're blessed and count those blessings genuinely.
Yeah, and Val, it doesn't like when you think about it, it doesn't cost anything to counter blessings. It doesn't cost anything to have a good attitude. It doesn't cost anything to have a good work ethic to kind of make things happen, right? And I think having that perspective, I think it can make or break it, or it can make you have a really 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 amazing life, or if you do the opposite, maybe not so much, right?
Well, because everybody has, we all have stuff. We all have
Yeah.
problems. We all have things we're juggling that are in the background that are stressors.
And I seen a good quote the other day, and I think I did a video about it, but it was like, if 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 you were like in a circle with 10 people, and everyone would put their problems in the middle, and then you'd be the first one. You'd take your problems right away, because a lot of people are going through worse, or like the problems that we're
100%.
dealt with, they're, they're given to us because we can handle it, right? And
Yes.
we're stronger than we think we are, and things may be overwhelming, but if we do a little bit at a time, and a little bit at a time, we can eventually get everything done. And I think just to try to do our best, and not be grateful for the problems that we have, but kind of, it can be a
No,
lot.
no, absolutely. I mean, I, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm so grateful for everything we went through to get to have great. I would
Mhm.
not change that. When I was in it, it was hard, and I had a lot of people around me helping me through it. But once we eventually got to him, which we're so lucky we did, I wouldn't change it because it has made me a mom that is so present to the point where I think I make people sick over it. I know my best friend tells me that, there's no way you can love them that much. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of obsessed. I think it's an illness. But like, I'm just so grateful that it's here that I want to take in every moment. So I wouldn't change that. And
And I've
Oh,
I've
sorry.
had friends that went through the same process, and seeing the journey of it, and like being able to see them like put the needles in, for example, like every day has to be the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time, and it's very regiment, very routine,
Mhm.
and like it's a huge sacrifice, right? And sometimes we have to do sacrifices to get the most amazing thing, and being able to see that, like it's like one of the hardest things to probably go through, but sometimes we go through the hard things, and but it makes us who we are, and it makes us that much better, right?
And you have to consider there are folks out there that would give anything to be in your shoes right now. You know,
Yeah.
I have friends who have gone through IVF and it didn't work, and they would have been a phenomenal mother, and you know who you are. She would have been amazing, and it didn't work. So I always have those people in the back of my head, you know, trying to, like, in honor of them, I am going to be grateful for what I have, because there
Mm.
are people who wish they were in my shoes. And I love that you brought up quotes, because I do that a lot too. I love quotes. And there's one that I came across not too long ago. It was something along the lines of like, don't be so focused on the future and miss what and forget that you're in the middle of what you were always praying for. I'll have to
Yeah.
send it to you later. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but it more or
No,
less
it makes
says like,
sense.
you're in the middle of what you used to pray for.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Be present.
It's crazy, eh? And there is another quote. It's like, um, it's kind of similar to that. I forget what it is, but we think like we pray for it to get better tomorrow, but like we're in that tomorrow today, you know, and
Yes.
and like we always get through it, no matter how bad it is, and no matter how shitty it might feel, we always get through it, and like if something happens today and it really bothers us, 2 weeks from now it won't even be a big deal,
Yeah.
and at the time we think it's the end all be all. It's like, why is this happening? And instead of saying why me, why not me, right? Like having that perspective of
Yes.
it's given to me, okay, I can handle it. Let's fig- not to try to find the problems, try to
Mm.
find a solution.
Yeah. Why not me? Wow. That's a, yeah.
And not everyone can go through what I go through, or not everyone can go through what you go through. Everyone has their own battles, right? And that's how we get our armor, so to say, to be able
Yeah.
to, to live our lives the way we do.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And we're all like warriors in our own way, so to say. But and I also wanted to talk about, like, even on a more of a joking manner, like, I
Yes.
know we kind of get
Finally.
but like like I know we got serious, and I think it's amazing to talk about that stuff, and it's super important. But like I think, like, even though you go through things, we all go through things, but like the great thing about you is everything you do, you always face it with a smile, with great energy, with jokes, with I think it's, you always try to make people laugh. You always try to bring out the best in them, and I see that every time I see you, and every time when I saw you at the gym the other day, like, oh my god, like you freak out, and you have that big infectious smile, and I think like have you always been like that? And what gives you that kind of perspective to be able to bring out the best in people?
Well, I don't know if I was always like that young. I know my parents have said since day one that I was like, I was telling you earlier, that I was the type of kid that would like talk to anybody in the mall. Like they'd have to hold me back, right? And I'd invite people over for supper. That's the story. My dad does this impression of me there, and he goes, "This was Val. Hello, hello." To everybody that they would see when I was little. So I think I've always probably been like social enough, but I had gone to a training, and I'll never forget, because it, like, this was early in my career, and the lady was talking about how you have to make people feel felt. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, so that the person that you're with feels you feeling them, not physically, but well, sometimes. Depends who. You can edit that one out. But
I'm not editing that out.
like you have to make people feel like you get it, like you feel them, you feel what they're going through. You can, sometimes my clients will be like, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know, I can just feel it, like that. And they're like, that's the feeling I'm experiencing. And I'm like, I
Wow,
know, I
that's
know,
amazing.
you know so I think it's, what was your question again? It was just about, was I always like that, or
No, I just said like how like
mm,
even though you go through things and but your overall persona, you're always happy go lucky, full of energy, laughing, like having that attitude to go through life on a day to day basis. I think it's a lot better to do that than to be the opposite, right? And I think it makes
mm,
life that much easier. And I think like just in general. I guess maybe it's more of a compliment than a,
yeah, I'm like,
a
what did you want me
question,
to say
but
here? Like, you're just keep going.
but yeah, I just like obviously you've probably always been like that, and I think you're the type of person that like you're a role model for so many people to be able to live life on the lighter side, so to say. And I think have you I guess my question was, have you always like lived life on the lighter side, always like approaching things with humor and
Yes.
even during hard times?
Yes. Like, I'm surprised I've never been called to HR. That's how much I live close to the line of humor. But what I realized, and I was thinking about you on the weekend because I was with my family, it's my family's love language. Like, we make fun of each other, we laugh a lot, we're very silly. So it's not just a Val thing. I think if you were to be around like the five of us, my family, like the people who made me and I lived with for about 18 years, like we're all the same. We just like to make people laugh. We like to joke. We joke about each other, to each other. And so I think for me, one of the most important things is to not take things so seriously. Like,
Mhm.
let's make a joke. I like to say what people are thinking because I know everybody's thinking it. Just nobody has the to say it. Like, I'll say it, and then everyone starts laughing. They're like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I know, you know, I just let's, and sometimes I use it to diffuse situations too. Like, there's a lot of contentious situations we're in sometimes with social workers, with families, and you can let out a little joke and everyone goes, they laugh, and it brings the
Like
temperature down,
it lightens the moon, so to say. But
Exactly.
I think there's a common trait because you kind of mentioned it a little bit before. You said when you deal with clients and you're working with clients, like and then they express something that's going on, and then you rebuttal, and they're like, "Oh, that's exactly what I'm feeling," or when you say like, "Oh, I feel like everyone's thinking it," but they don't say it. But like you probably have that sense, and I think that's largely because you're a good listener. You care about people. You get to know them, right, and how they feel, and I think it's like a gift that you have.
Like Cindy said, I'm loving, so I accepted my gifts as the loving listener.
There you
You
go.
know,
Yeah.
but you're right, and I think, and again, and I was thinking about, in preparation for all of this, I was trying to reflect as well, and I do think, some people are super uber talented at singing and at, sports and whatever. My husband can make the most incredible things. Maybe I have a talent at making people feel seen and heard and like they matter. And that's okay. I I'll take it, you know?
That's like the most beautiful thing to have. I think that it gives me like goosebumps because it's so true, and I think that's such a like a underrated, like that's like a massive superpower. You're a
Yeah,
superhero.
underrated. Yeah, no, I know what you mean because, when you're thinking back, like, what are my talents? Like, I don't really, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't draw, I don't do any of those. I can't make cool things with my hands. I'm an average athlete. well, maybe more than average there. But if people feel like when they are with me, they matter and they walk out feeling a little bit better, then, I know this might be morbid, but sometimes you have, like, I think, what if this is the last time I see this person? Like, I want them to know I freaking love them. Like, they're awesome. I'm so happy I saw them today, you know?
It's so true, and I think like it is a good perspective to have because like exactly what if you don't see them ever again and like and you don't want to have any regrets like oh the last time I saw him it wasn't really good,
Yeah.
or yeah, and I think that's such a loving like that's such a great way to think about it like I think this whole podcast is just like a wealth of knowledge and a good, really good perspective to have and having a great attitude and I think just like loving life and living life to the fullest. And I think that's what it's all about. But
Yeah.
when I kind of when I thought about um, like writing these questions and I kind of talk a little bit about this with every podcast, but like I just like we all know that you are an amazing human being and but I want to know maybe some people that has helped you like role models or mentors or really people that have had I know you kind of mentioned a lot of your family and rightfully so, but is there other people that has helped you become who you are today has had a really positive impact?
Oh man, like that's one that I could name like a lot of people because
Yeah,
what
we
I
can
like
have
to
a
do, yeah,
5 hour podcast.
just on that because what
Yeah,
I like to do is take the best of the people that I meet and love, and then like what would they do in this situation, or so the first person that comes to mind, obviously, I'll say my mom and dad, but outside of my own family, it's my friend Cindy. Like she has changed my life. Like she has pushed me to grow and allowed me to see. She's not the friend that will tell you what you want to hear. She's a true friend, and she'll always tell me, no, this is like, I think this is what's going on, and this is why you're doing this, and it's not this, it's not that, and I've grown so much because of this human. Like I don't know how I would do life without her, and she's really an incredible person. You think I'm cool? Like, I'll have to introduce you to her one day.
yeah, I would love it. Would be awesome.
She's
That
like
would.
so talented too, and she's also a social worker. um but like, I had amazing grandparents. I got to like live near my grandparents, have close relationships with them. I'm just a really lucky person to have all these amazing people around me. And I think one that I have to mention, that she'll never maybe probably see this, but her name is Geraldine Chrissy. And so she's this incredibly gifted social worker from Toronto. You can look her up. She is like an expert on trauma and childhood trauma. And she developed like this whole model of assessing kids and treating kids. And I got introduced to her early in my career. And she took me under her wing because I was obsessed with the stuff. Like once I found all this information out, I couldn't see life in a different way now. Like there's so much about the brain and what happens when people experience trauma. And it was just, yeah, she's magic, man. She's unbelievable. And she's out of Toronto now, and she does like her everything virtually. So I barely talk to her now. She's not young. I wouldn't, I'm not going to even try and guess there because I wouldn't want to insult her. But it was life changing learning about that. Like from a professional standpoint, like she was life changing. But from a personal standpoint, it's, obviously Cindy, and then Jill and Gray, clearly, which I've mentioned, and my family. And I could go on. Like there's more
Yeah,
people who just,
little bit everyone and I kind of I mentioned it a couple times in a few podcasts. It's like I'm like the same as you. I take like the best out of everyone and I try to they're like a little pieces of me,
yeah,
and and my buddies they're all my buddies from elementary school, high school, and there's then even after like meeting but like like they set the bar to the moon, and like I'm trying to like they always lead by example for me without them even knowing it, and
Yes.
I try to take a little piece, like that. It makes me a better person, but I always want to make them proud, and then that kind of like motivates me. Like all those guys are doing great things. Like why can't I do it? Or like indirectly they help me get better and better. You know?
Yes. Yeah. No, no, you're nailing it. That's exactly how I feel as well. Like it's
Yeah. When you said that, I'm like, that's exactly what I say.
well, that's why we get along so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think being able to have a good team around you,
Yeah.
like we mentioned earlier, like you can't do it by yourself, and that's what makes
Mhm.
life so special is sharing those moments with the people that you love the most, right? And
Yes.
if you can't succeed and you can't share your successes with the people that you love, then what's the point?
Exactly.
Mhm. But the I could talk about this forever, but I wanted to maybe on the lasting note. I know we can talk. We can do this podcast for probably 5 6 hours.
Well,
And
we started earlier too,
still,
so
for me,
ooh, hey, we started early too. Like we
yeah,
didn't without recording.
people that don't know we were talking
Little
like
teaser, eh?
an
You'll
hour
never
before this.
you'll never get to know what we talked about. Sorry about my cat. Like she's been all over.
I I can see her tail.
Yeah, yeah, the whole time.
Background.
So this is Snowy. So this is the other one.
That's
Yeah.
a different one than last time.
That's the different one. Yes. So
That's
yes.
awesome.
I knew she'd be around. Crazy cat lady here.
Yeah. You have two or three.
I have three and a bunny that won't die. So that's a whole other story.
It's a zoo.
That's after the recording.
But that just shows how like loving you are. I think having pets is like the
Yeah.
unconditional love, you know? And pets my brother has a couple dogs, and um, they're so special. And
Yes.
having them is like
It
they're
adds
it's like
life.
they're part of the family, which is pretty special.
Absolutely. It adds life to the house, I feel. Like what do
Yeah.
you how can you not have a pet, you know?
And even though the even though you don't know where the cat is because they're so quiet and stealthy, they're still fun to have.
Oh, 100%. And these cats are such a different breed, Ryan. Like they are like dogs.
Oh,
They're always with us. You call them and they show up.
huh.
So, yeah, they're interesting kind of cats. So,
Maybe you trained them so well.
maybe.
That's pretty cool. The end on this, I wanted to I always kind of ask like a piece of advice or a mantra that you kind of try to live all the time, or and I think that's something because every person I have on this podcast, I think they're on it for a reason, and they're special and uplifting, and they're just good-hearted people. And I wanted to ask like maybe a mantra or something that you live by that helps you on a day-to-day basis to keep being the uplifting and amazing and impactful person that you are.
So this one is easy because I do a lot of trainings and I always bring this one up. It's a quote actually, and it's made for kids, but I apply it to adults too. So it goes like this. Drum roll, please. No, I'm kidding. It's every child deserves to have one adult whose eyes light up when they walk into a room. So essentially, every child deserves to have someone in their life who goes, kind of like what you described of when I saw you, I got so excited, right? Every kid deserves to have at least one adult who does that because then they'll feel like they matter. I apply it to adults too. So I don't care who you are. I'm best friends with my little pizza boys from we love Great Lakes Pizza. We order like twice a week. They come to the door. I know them all by name. They're our little friends. They come in the house. I don't care who it is. I want them to feel like they matter because they
Yeah,
do. you know? And so for me, it's about that's the mantra is like making people feel important. And I truly believe that that comes back to me. It
And you
comes
do,
back
and
in
from an
different ways.
outsider, looking in, you do that to everyone you meet. Every time I see you, I get that reaction, and it's like contagious. It's like when I see you afterwards, like like it's like I drank 20 Red Bulls, you know.
Good. So what you're saying is I show up like, hey Ryan, I'm so excited to see you.
No, it's like I feel like I'm
Oh
so energized.
you feel like you drank 20 Red Bulls. So what is that?
Yeah,
Like you just go around like
because
that's
your energy and who
awesome.
you are is so contagious,
Oh well, thank you.
and I
And
can
that's the
say with certainty that every time people see you, their eyes get really big and they light up. So that's the impact you have.
yeah. Well, it's clearly because I'm having an impact, not because I'm the hot one, right? We found that one out.
Oh, both.
Hey,
We both
both. Thank you. I love you so much.
love you too, Val, and we'll be friends forever.
Forever.
It's and we'll have to do a sequel of this
A
episode.
part two. We'll see how many views this gets. Okay, if it gets more than 2 views, Jill and my mom, we'll do a part two.
But you know what though, I say this to everyone, like I don't really care how many views it gets. I just wanted to help one person, you know, and I have so much fun doing this, and like
Mhm.
we've been talking for hours, and it's so much fun, and like this made my night for sure, you know, and just being able to have fun conversations that maybe give people a different perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about, and giving a platform to people who truly deserve to shine, you know, and you're the perfect person for it.
Oh, you're just so kind.
Oh,
There's only like one person like you in the world. I'm telling you, you're so sweet.
oh, thank you so much. All right.
So how do
This
we
is
wrap it up? That hey, you're like the intro is rough. How do you wrap it up?
I guess I guess we can end it how we started with laughing a bunch.
We reeled it in pretty good though. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, I was it was shaky, but
It got scary there for a minute.
but it all worked out. Thank you, Val. I have so much
You're
love and
welcome.
admiration for you. I'm so
Me too.
grateful to have a friend like you in my life, and
Oh,
uh,
same.
you did so well, and I'm so happy.
Oh, thank you. Me too.
All right, thanks, Val.
Goodbye.